Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's your man of the hour, the man with the power, the living legend of professional wrestling podcastery. This is the LOB Cast, the Legion of Boom podcast, the podcast about wrestling that has no script, that has no net, and apparently hasn't had a decent night's sleep since we recorded 2 weeks ago. Dave, how are you doing?
I'm good, mate. Or what?
Oh, look, there's our first sitter peeking. Yeah, we've got to be careful of that. We're a bit louder in the studio this week, fellas, because...
We done a sound test.
Yeah, we
tested, and I'm sitting in the right place so you can actually hear me.
We actually put 30 seconds worth of effort into it this time before we started pressing record.
Because I do have a voice. I have an opinion.
And you could barely hear it the last time we did anything.
Yeah.
So as you could hear, that's Dave, my co-host. I'm the other co-host, Lee.
With the Legion of Boom.
The Legion of Boom. Boom. It's all about the boom.
Episode 2.
Episode 2. Yeah. Oh, God, I've got to actually fix the script for what I'm going to say at the beginning of these because that, I think, was absolute garbage. Anyway.
It probably would have been better than what I would have come up with. I was fully prepared to actually just start waffling the same, so... But.
Well, Dave, shall we?
Yeah, let's
3,
let's
2,
ASMR it.
1...
Cheers.
This podcast this week is apparently brought to you by Desperado's Original.
Oh, that's nice.
That is one of the better beers.
That is nice.
Oh my God, I love that. A hint of...
Thanks,
cheers.
Thanks, Dad, for that one.
Yeah, may he rest in peace.
Yeah.
And that ain't a joke, by the way. I know a few of you probably started laughing at that, but no.
I've raided his stash. I saw my brother today because it's my brother's birthday. We're recording this on the 11th. It's my brother's birthday tomorrow, so...
Happy birthday, Jack.
And I thought, I won't let Lee give me all the beer I bought him for his birthday again, so I'll bring some round.
I mean, to be fair, that beer you brought me for my birthday has now gone, so...
Well, my brother's a cider man, so he's not really going to... He's kept a few back because he wants to try it, but he's a cider man, so he's not really going to drink it. So I've had it. So.
Oh, that is good. Anyway, so, right... professional wrestling, no podcast, no net, no script.
You've done all this business.
Yeah. Royal Rumble. That was the last thing that was, yeah.
Well, we're going to get into... Do we want to talk about what we watched first, or do we want to start off with Rumble?
Well, I watched the Royal Rumble, and that is pretty much it.
So, shall I gloss over the last week and a half of wrestling that you haven't watched?
If you could.
Because I was fully expecting you to watch NXT.
I was also hoping to watch NXT. Oh, I tell you what... I'll tell you one thing I did actually watch. I watched last week's opening 15 minutes of Monday Night Raw and I immediately turned it off. So I think...
it was wank, probably. Yeah.
I mean, when we get into what that is, you're going to figure out what my opinions on certain things have happened.
I watched last night's.
Yep.
It was a lot better. I actually enjoyed it.
Yeah, I have heard, yeah. So,
it was a lot better.
So if we're going to record this on Tuesdays for the foreseeable future, which I think is going to be the plan, at least until my work schedule shifts over a bit, going to be very difficult for me to record on a Tuesday and watch 3 hours of Monday Night Raw just after it happens. So I'm going to be relying on you.
It's not really 3 hours once you fast forward all the wank.
Oh, okay,
that's in the middle.
Oh, and actually...
If you skip Jey Uso saying yeet for 10 minutes... at the beginning, because we don't need to see Pat McAfee and doing all this business,
And God forbid Michael Cole doing the same. That was something I don't know if we touched on that in last week's episode, but during the beginning, the very first Monday episode of Raw on Netflix, one of the things that made me think to myself, oh my God, what have I let myself in for? Is seeing Michael Cole do the yeet dance on top of the announce
to be honest, I don't know if he done anything like that because obviously I fast forwarded. Because the other week, I don't know if it was Raw or SmackDown, but I'm pretty sure there was like 15 minutes before Jey Uso even spoke.
Yeah.
And it was just, I'm going to fast forward that. So
at that point, like, the show isn't even entertaining you. The crowd is entertaining itself. And I am just not into that. Like, I remember when NXT first became a big thing. And the crowds would do all of these obnoxious chants that they'd clearly rehearsed beforehand. And it's like, all right, guys, I understand you're enthusiastic. This is probably the best product that WWE has put on in a while. But you are trying to make yourselves the stars of the show. It's something that I really dreaded happening in AEW. Unfortunately, they seem to not have them falling into the same trap, which...
Well, they need someone in the building to do that, don't they, really? Yeah. Let's be honest. It's no good if you've only got the hard cam full of people. Which they've started running smaller arenas. It's starting to feel a lot better.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Well, that is one good thing, yeah.
Well, considering you didn't watch anything, NXT wasn't as great this week as it has been.
Okay.
Opening match was good. Stephanie Vaquer is my new number one. I think she's fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
So she had a good match.
Yeah. We will actually talk a bit more about her when we get to the Rumble.
In fact, to be honest, this week was largely all about the girls, really, because even AEW.
Yeah.
Because on Dynamite, the best thing on the show was Tony Storm was doing her impersonation of... what's the other girl's name? I forgot her name. Mariah May, that's it. She does Mariah May better than Mariah May does Mariah May.
Yeah.
It was very good.
Well, because remember when Mariah May did Tony Storm, and people thought that Mariah May did Tony Storm better than Tony Storm.
Tony Storm does Mariah May better, and that was fantastic. And you also had, and even Harley Cameron had a good section.
On, you've been given some Harley Cameron slander last week, and
my wife detests Harley Cameron. To be honest,
I think she's brilliant.
Well, to be honest, my wife, she doesn't like when it's over sexualized. And to be honest, for a long while, it was just TNA with her, weren't it? Let's be fair.
She shook him a bit.
You know, her wrestling's got better, and to be honest, the last couple of weeks, I've actually enjoyed her character work. It's been quite fun.
Oh yeah, like the few bits and pieces that I have seen on social media largely has been Harley Cameron sticking her hand up puppet Mercedes Monet's ass. And apparently one of the things she said on this week's Collision was the most entertaining you've ever been in your entire career was the 30 seconds where I was making you speak with my hand up a puppet's ass.
It was good.
Which, A, kinda true, and B, the puppet thing was fantastic. And also, I did see on social media Harley Cameron attempting to call Mercedes Moné ACUNT.
Yeah.
And that was... Yeah.
It was a good segment. It was a good segment.
I think she gets wrestling comedy down to an absolute T.
It's just when she sings, it annoys me a bit. Because she has got a bit of an eye, but she's growing on me, her character. But I mean, try and be positive, because I was a bit negative with some of the stuff last time. I thought Collision was one of my favourite shows of the last week and a half. From top to bottom, you had some great matches on there. Women's match, the women's bit, you had... Main event was good. You had Carl Fletcher and...
Very good.
Mark Briscoe.
Oh yeah, no, that was good. Yeah.
But the standout of the show, funny enough, Brian Keith versus Bandido.
Do you know what? That doesn't surprise me an awful lot, because a few people that I know who are very much into indie wrestling say that they have no idea what AEW's been doing with Brian Keith for the last God knows how long. But he's one of the best indie signings that they've
It's
signed.
Nice that Brian Keith's been getting a bit of a rub and being on TV with Chris Jericho, but it was nice to see Brian Keith be Brian Keith.
Absolutely,
and it was very good. And Bandido was good. And also, we had Hologram come back as well.
Oh, nice.
So, Raw can have Penta, because Hologram was fantastic, and he has been fantastic. I mean, I think he got injured, and I think he had a baby. I think that's why he's been... Well, he did have a baby, obviously, but I think, you never know these days. But anyway...
I mean, he's in the digital realm, surely.
But so I think that's why he's been gone for. So it was very nice to have him back, and it was very good. Good showing for the Luchadors on AEW.
Well, that's really good.
So Collision was a good show.
Because I've noticed that WWE has been trying to catch up with the Luchador thing as well, because they've been putting theirs to pasture for a bit, and now that they've got Penta back... Because I've been really impressed by Penta since he's debuted in WWE. A few people have had some negative things to say about him. I really enjoyed his... should we start talking about it now?
What's that?
The Royal Rumble.
We can do. But yeah, in general, the beginning of NXT was good. Collision was good. Some of Dynamite was good. Raw and SmackDown were kind of forgettable. This week's was kind of good. Raw.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, I have heard that 3-hour SmackDown is being a bit of a slog to get through.
Yeah, I mean, you didn't watch NXT, but this week we're going to talk about it. Obviously,
I am going to try with NXT.
This Saturday's We've got the Grandslam and NXT's Vengeance Day is this Saturday.
Oh, right. Oh, that'll be interesting.
We'll talk about the Rumble first, and then we can look forward to what we're going to look forward to, and obviously the road to WrestleMania once we get out of the Rumble talk, I suppose.
Absolutely. Fantastic.
So, what did you think of the Rumble overall, the show?
Overall, the show, it was good. It was a good show.
I agree.
Oh, Christ, the dangers of drinking on the job. Yeah, might have to make some time.
I agree. It was a good show. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I'll get the negative bits out of the way. Some of the finishes I didn't like.
Right. Okay.
But we'll get into that. But because I suppose we can do a match by match breakdown since it was 4 of them.
Yeah, I was going to say, right. So shall we start at the very beginning, which is a very good place to start.
Overall show was good. Yeah. One thing I will say is, if that's what PLEs are like now, I won't watch them live. Me and the wife sat up and watched that lot. Well, she fell asleep just before the end of the Rumble, so she had to watch it. But I watched it live.
Yeah.
And I won't watch them live again if they're like that, because I could 15 to 20 minutes of faff between each match.
Absolutely.
I will not be watching that live.
It took me about 2.5 hours to watch what was essentially a 4-hour show.
Yeah, I won't do it again. So, but other than that, I did enjoy the show overall.
Yeah.
Even though there was a television match halfway through it.
Which
you was looking forward to.
Oh,
we
will talk about that soon.
Should we start? We'll start from the beginning. So we started with the Women's Royal Rumble.
Yeah, let's start with the Women's Royal Rumble, which
was a great Rumble.
It was. Really? You think it was a great Rumble?
Well, I haven't seen many Women's Rumbles, to be honest.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
So I don't know the contest, but considering I've actually been into the women's wrestling in the last few weeks, I really enjoyed the Rumble. I thought it was a great Rumble. I just didn't like the winner. If there was a different winner, I think I would have enjoyed it more. Yep.
When we have discussed both Rumbles, I would like to take a couple of moments to discuss both of those winners in lockstep with each other, because I've got something to talk about when it comes to how I personally would have booked this show. And it kind of involves the endings of both the men's and the women's. But yeah, so I thought the Women's Rumble was, honestly, for the first, I would say, 15 minutes or so, it was a bit of a slog. And then something happened, and oh god, I was going to write down a bunch of notes because, Royal Rumble is all about numbers and it's about figures, but I don't have the figures straight in front of me. A certain entrant hit the Royal Rumble and was an absolute breath of fresh air to what we had previously been seeing in it. And that entrant, for me, validated what my prediction was in the first episode of this podcast, which is that Jordynne Grace should have won the whole bloody thing.
Oh, Jordynne Grace was fantastic.
Jordynne Grace hit that ring like a bomb and was immediately the best. Yeah, absolutely. And as far as I'm concerned, the absolute best thing about the entire Rumble.
Well, to be honest, for me, it was the NXT girls.
Was it? Yeah. Julia
was
Stephanie
great. Stephanie Vanko was
Roxanne
Perez. Roxanne Perez was excellent.
Which I still think of her as an NXT person, even though I think she's been called up.
I think she's in the process of being.
Oh, she's in the process of being.
She's appearing on. I think she's probably going to be feuding. She's feuding with Bayley. She's kind of going across the show because she's going to be fighting at Vengeance Day.
Yeah,
with Bayley and Julia in a triple threat for the title. So,
do we know if Jordynne Grace is going to be in NXT or if she's going to just go straight to the main roster?
I think she's probably... Well, she wasn't on NXT this week. So
okay, all right.
She wasn't on anything this week. I think they'll probably main roster.
That's disappointing. That would
well, they might
after that performance.
No, they might float her. We don't know. I don't know.
I mean, I'd like to have seen them really capitalise on that performance, frankly, because I was just like, I was watching it and thought to myself, yes, I was just correct. They should have made her the winner.
I can't remember if she was on it. I don't think she was. But no, we just saw Charlotte Flair over 3 shows, which was
like, oh my god, what are they doing? Why? She is not a face. She cannot appear genuine when she's trying to be nice in the middle. That promo that she did,
they were trying to make. She was coming out trying to cut a babyface promo, and everyone was booing her.
And I just she's standing in the middle of the ring. She looked like she was attempting a speech at a beauty queen pageant because she was just standing so poised and unnatural with this gigantic grin on her face. And it was like watching a presidential candidate trying to talk to working class people. That's how fake and phony it came off. Bad. Yeah. It was so I don't understand.
Yeah,
that.
I've been enjoying the women's wrestling. I didn't connect with her at all.
Yeah.
Don't like it.
Yeah. Well, one thing else that I was really annoyed by in that Rumble, the fact that Nia Jax got given so bloody much. She ended up kicking out about 8 different people at once. Do you remember that spot?
Yeah, but she always does that, doesn't she? The giant does that all the time.
Oh yeah.
That's the spot.
But like,
and then it takes everyone to throw him over the rope and stuff, doesn't it?
I mean, this one was a bit egregious. Did she get
eliminated? Did everyone throw her over, or did?
Oh, I don't remember how she got eliminated, but I just remember there was a bunch of different really good wrestlers who were all like scrumming it out on the apron, and she got rid of all of them at once. And as soon as she did that, the Rumble became a lot less interesting because that meant that the only winner out of the people who were left in the ring was going to be Charlotte Flair. Yeah. As much as I would love to have seen it be Roxanne Perez.
We'll go to the men's, but obviously the men's was like towards the end, it was like, anyone realistically.
We'll have to talk about the difference in how me and you found out who the winner was, because we won't go into that now, but we'll definitely need to make a note.
Overall, I enjoyed the women's Rumble. It was a very good Rumble.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I did think that when Jordynne Grace and then Roxanne Perez, I think, came in after, and then Julia came in, that's when things really started.
Stephanie and Becca came in, and
Alexa Bliss made a
return as well.
Not for very long though. She was eliminated very shortly afterwards.
Yeah, but she hasn't wrestled for quite a long time.
I know. I would have thought that.
And I think she was a last minute change as well.
Oh, okay.
Report what I've read. Apparently, she took the Shotzi's spot. Shotzi was supposed to.
Oh, okay.
And it was a last minute thing. So
because they had only just like that day, I think they'd sorted out the contract.
Yeah, so I think it was a last minute thing. So
Michael Cole saying, I thought she wasn't going to re-sign with WWE. And it's like, fuck off, you twat. I will say, Michael Cole, he does not make wrestling more pleasant for me to watch these days, I've got to say. He is...
Still don't bother me.
Rather...
He's better than Pat McAfee. They should have had Booker T commentating. That's who they need.
A kick to the face is better than Pat McAfee.
You should have Booker T commentating. I like Booker T commentating. It makes me laugh.
Hey, Booker T is flamboyant. He has a lot of personality. He says some outrageous and ridiculous things. He doesn't grate as much as McAfee does.
No, he makes me
There's
laugh.
a good balance with him there. Yeah,
he makes me laugh. In a way, like picture-in-picture commentary on AEW.
Oh yeah.
It makes me laugh like that. Like Taz and Excalibur banter.
Yeah.
That's the kind of way.
But for Taz, but for Booker T, it's picture-in-picture commentary all of the time.
That's what I mean. That's good. It's good. I like it. But that was good. Yeah. So I like the Rumble from start until it got obvious it was Charlotte Flair, because they weren't going to make Roxanne Perez win.
I thought it started slow. I thought the middle really picked up, and then I thought that the ending became too obvious. And honestly, when it didn't
drag though. The ending didn't drag, to be fair.
For a second, I thought they were going to have Roxanne Perez win, and I was so gutted when that didn't happen.
Well, but that's a good thing then. If you thought she was going to win, surely that's a good thing.
Oh, no, I really thought she was going to win. But then that palpitates the disappointment when she doesn't. I suppose. And when because
I wasn't surprised when Charlotte won, to be fair. That's the point.
I mean, and the problem is that as far as main roster storylines are concerned with the women's division, it was basically like, Charlotte Flair's going to return. And that entrance they gave her as well, it was like, this person is just better than everybody else in this Rumble combined as far as WWE is concerned. I honestly do not understand the stock that they put into her. I really don't like. This is the sort of presentation that you should have given Becky Lynch when she was at the top of her game.
I'm surprised now Vince has gone that they're still going with the Charlotte Flair thing.
I mean, the thing is that when Vince left, a lot about WWE changed, but a lot about it stayed the same. And a lot of those things have very much disappointed me.
Yeah.
Well,
should we cheer up and move on to the next match then?
Oh, fuck you.
Which was what you was looking forward to this, weren't
you?
Oh
yeah, no, I was very much looking
forward to this.
Machine Guns and DIY over the tag team championships on a tentpole Big Four pay-per-view, and it is used as the cooler match. That offends me to my very core.
What gets me is, why did they need a cooler match when I had to sit through nearly 20 minutes of crap in between?
Oh my God. Watching Pat McAfee talk about our amazing Indianapolis.
I'm pretty sure, I once I realised that there was 10, 15 minutes between the matches, I thought, I'll start making sandwiches and stuff between my matches and things. That's what I was doing in between, especially after the Cody match, before the Rumble. I knew I've got 20 minutes. I'm going to have a meal. I know it was like 3 a.m, but I was hungry.
Yeah, wrestling pay-per-views, you need a lunch break. It's like watching a bloody Test cricket match these days.
I was looking for that match. It just felt like another SmackDown match.
Yeah, it was. Like and the ending was so crap.
And it was such a bad finish.
Yeah,
it was a bad finish. It was pointless.
Street Profits, is that who they are?
Yeah.
Street Profits.
They came out and attacked, made the team that they are going to feud with win.
Yeah. And yet somehow
that doesn't make sense. So it's like, I want to feud with you, but I'm going to make sure you keep the belts.
Yeah.
What is this?
I don't like that. Like I say, this was such a bland, unspectacular match when you have two of my favourite tag teams. One of my favourite tag teams in WWE history. Motor City Machine Guns, maybe my favourite tag team of all time. We're talking more than the Young Bucks. There is one tag team that I think just pips them.
FTL.
No. Okay. My favourite tag team of all time is actually a fairly niche pick. But
the Bushwhackers.
These are two wrestlers. They were with each other for a very small time. But what they did, especially with the Motor City Machine Guns, in the ring in TNA, was incredible.
Who's that?
AJ Styles and Christopher Daniels.
Genuinely.
They teamed
it doesn't surprise me.
Very briefly. But genuinely,
maybe
my favourite tag team of all time.
It was probably in when I watched it, but I probably don't remember it.
Absolutely, and it was my like when it happened, I just remember thinking to myself, I'm seeing something special here. I'm seeing something that I'm going to remember. And I have done. I have literally remembered this since it happened, despite the fact that it lasted as long as about a gnat's fart. So, yeah. Anyway, back to the match. Yeah, the worst thing I can say about it...
It sucked.
I did not have anything to say about it afterwards, apart from the fact that I was just hoping for so much more from these two teams.
Should we just forget about it? It was wank.
The
word I'm going to use. Yeah. It's the word I'm establishing for this podcast. When I don't like something, it's wank.
Wank, yeah.
That's the word I'm going to.
I was hoping for FTR versus DIY in NXT levels, and it was wank.
That's it. It was wank. But then we got, after another 20 minutes of faff, we got Cody versus Kevin Owens.
Oh yeah. Much better.
What did you think of this one?
Do you know what? Genuinely don't remember much of this except for the visual of Kevin Owens folded up like an accordion, like a piece of IKEA furniture still in its flat pack.
You know what?
His head buried in that ladder.
Yeah, it's weird because I grew up with Attitude Era. I used to watch ECW Brothers, so I like the violent stuff.
Yeah.
But that... it was nasty anyway. And then at one point, if you watch it back, you see Nick Aldis give the X sign.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, I saw it. Yeah. But then I've watched wrestling for a long time, so I pick up on these things. I saw Nick Aldis give the X sign.
Nah.
And that kind of then, because I thought then, he's hurt now.
Yeah.
And then that made it think like, it kind of weren't like, a bit of violence. It was like, no, he's generally hurt.
You see, I know
and
that...
it took me out of it now.
I don't know if the X is still used to point out genuine injury.
Do something else now because everyone knows about the X. Do you think?
Yeah, and they have made the X a part of them. Especially because did they focus it on the camera?
No, you saw him at the back of them all.
It still appeared on camera, didn't it?
Yeah.
So to me, with WWE savviness when it comes to social media these days, I get the feeling that they did that deliberately so that people could capture it on their phones.
But I mean, I'm not used to that silliness. So I saw the X sign, and it was the only wrestler. You know, all of them were like all referees and things like that, and you had the actual wrestler, Nick Aldis, stand there, and he's given the X sign to someone off. You know, and I thought, oh, he's there because it looked bad.
Oh, it looked bad like that. It was almost.
I mean, if he's not hurt, kudos to him because it looked vicious.
I mean, he was on Raw like 2 days.
Yeah, he was on the next day. But I think what it was because I saw that X sign, it kind of like snapped me out of it. Suddenly, it wasn't entertainment anymore. Someone's hurt.
One thing I will say about you is that you have gotten a bit more sensitive to the physical plight of the wrestlers in your old age. You get more concerned about things that happen in the ring that maybe you would not have done when you was an ECW
when you were watching years ago and someone's getting smashed over the head and you just you know, I remember watching Mankind fall off the cell.
Yeah,
you know,
I remember you complaining that when Shane McMahon jumped off the Hell in a Cell when he was facing the Undertaker.
And landed on a
crash mat. Yeah. No,
I remember watching the ECW one when they in the triple cage.
Yeah.
The canyon went off, and it was padded.
Yeah.
And I think, pussy.
You know, we don't think that anymore.
No,
for good reason.
No, but I think it was because I mean it looked vicious. Ness was sitting with me, and she was like, "Oh, you know."
Yeah.
And then when I saw Nick give that sign, I thought, "Oh,
I mean,
is he hurt?"
Seeing his body folded up like that with his arse in his air and you could not see his head. And he
weren't moving or anything.
It was very almost comical. It was very almost hilarious.
Yeah.
But the fact that the bump looked so bad, it genuinely looked like he'd been buried in this ladder.
It was a nasty bump, and then I think that just took it out. I mean, to be honest, I can't remember much of the actual match.
I mean, that's the thing. Like when it comes to matches,
I remember that, and I remember that obviously they did a spot not long before that when I think was it like Death Valley Driver or something onto one of the ladders, which was a bit naughty.
But the thing is that, and this is also one of the reasons why I think that the brutality was played into is because. Obviously with story going into that match, it was all about how CM Punk was trying to get into Cody's head and telling him that, dude, you've got a target on your back now, you're at the top of the mountain, everybody's gunning for you, and that's going to wear you down mentally. And the climax of this match was Cody Rhodes gloating to the crowd about the thing that he had just done to somebody who is supposedly supposed to be an ally of his, an uneasy ally at the moment, but still an ally. And you had the visual of Sami Zayn coming down, trying to check on Kevin Owens, trying to see how, the guy's best friend of 20, 30, 40 years in the industry. I don't think it might be that long, but you know what I mean. They've been together a long time, despite the fact that they, I was going to say that they've betrayed each other over and over and over again, but it hasn't really, they haven't really. It's just been Kevin Owens betraying Sami Zayn over and over and over again to the point where I'm just like, dude, you're like going back to your abusive boyfriend. Like, what are you doing? But so Sami Zayn came down, tried to check on Kevin Owens, but really what he was there to do was to look in horror at the apathy of Cody Rhodes and how Cody Rhodes is actually gloating about the fact that he did such a brutal thing to somebody who was at one point last year his friend.
It's not going to lead to anything. I think we're going to be getting Owens versus Zayn though.
Yeah, that's so I think that
that was particular SmackDown. I think Owens attacked Zayn the following SmackDown.
Yeah. So I think what they're trying. I think the thing that they're seeding isn't necessarily a feud between Cody and Samuel. Cody and continuing Cody and Kevin Owens. I think it's more Cody Rhodes has gone off the deep end, which bodes well for the fact that I think it would have been very bland to have Cody versus John Cena at WrestleMania be face versus face.
Yeah, I think they're going to do. They'll probably do a heel turn to his. As if he's going to face Cena, though. You don't know.
You don't know, but I can't see what else there is
Punk.
for Cody to do.
Punk.
But isn't Punk and it's going to be Punk? Well, at the moment, the idea is...
Or they could do like a WrestleMania 2000 and just have every fucker in the main event. I don't know.
Yeah, but that sucked.
Yeah,
like, that was like, you had... Right, so WrestleMania 2000, the build-up to that was all about Triple H and Mick Foley, and they had 2 incredible matches in the lead-up to WrestleMania, and then the actual match that they went with in WrestleMania.
Well, Mick was supposed to be retiring,
wasn't
he? Mick wasn't supposed to be at WrestleMania. He was going to retire. Oh, excuse me. I always thought he was going to retire. Yeah, because I think he came back for No Way Out, and he got convinced to come back for Mania. So I think they was going to go with I think they was going to go with Triple H and Rock, weren't they?
Yeah, and then they turned it into a 4-way with Mick Foley and Big Show instead.
Yeah, they did Big Show.
And I don't remember what happened.
Because there was a janky end to the Rumble. Because Rock did a penta.
Yeah.
And we'll get to that.
We'll get to that.
But yeah, I think Rock's feet touched the floor, so they turned it into the thing where Big Show won the Rumble, and then they did a 4-way. Did you know that WrestleMania there was only one singles match?
Yeah, I've heard that.
One,
something like that. Yeah, which is very, very odd, because they usually pile as many women into one match as they possibly can in those days in that area, which they have thankfully gotten out of.
But yeah, just finish up with a ladder match. I remember enjoying it. I think possibly enjoying my sandwich throughout the first half. But I remember enjoying it, and it was, and I mean, even the end was brutal.
Yeah.
And I think, my sensitivity in my old age probably was... But yeah, that X sign did snap me out a bit.
Yeah.
Because I remember thinking, well, I'm enjoying this show, but all 3 of these matches, I don't like the finish.
Yeah.
One because I didn't like who won the Rumble. Then we had a DQ, and then that kind of thing.
I see, because, so I'm a lot more cynical these days. I see a lot of injury spots and things like that, especially when it comes to WWE. I think they work too safe for people to really be getting hurt.
I think as well it was more shocking because obviously the last few weeks of rewatching WWE now, it has been very tame.
Yeah.
Whereas if that was on AEW, I probably would have just been you know what I mean? So possibly. Yeah. Well, I mean, kudos to them because they obviously worked me. Mm-hmm. But I think if Nick hadn't given...
They might not have done. They might not have done. This is pure speculation.
I mean, Nick might have he might have generally thought he was out. You don't know. Yeah. But they got me. Mm-hmm. Doesn't mean I have to like it.
No. Yeah.
But I remember the match being quite good.
Yeah.
But then again, to be honest, I've been watching AEW for the last 6 years, so a ladder match, but to me, it didn't really stand out too much.
I mean,
I remember more of Cody's match with Sammy Guevara than I do than that.
Cody's match with Sammy Guevara was bloody excellent.
Yeah,
I would say,
Should we get on to the men's
Royal Rumble? Right, okay, so I remember the men's Rumble a little bit more, I think, especially when it comes to the beginning. Because I have to say...
The Lucha start we had.
I have to say...
And Penta's elimination.
Oh... We'll get to that. But just the very beginning of that Rumble. I don't know who was 1 and who was 2. Frankly, I think they should get rid of that
Before we get into the nitty-gritty, did you enjoy the Rumble?
Yes, I did.
I thought it was a good Rumble match. I enjoyed it.
Yeah. So, we get into the beginning of the Rumble, and I don't know who's 1 and I don't know who's 2, because frankly, if you start at the very beginning... I think you're both number 1 and number 2. It should be 1A and 1B.
I think Mysterio was 1.
Yeah, but that's just such an incredible visual at the very beginning.
It was good.
2 amazing luchadors. 1 who is a legend of the past. 1 who is the very present of a popular mainstream North American luchador. American famous, and my God, just the feels I got from that moment overshadowed any jankiness that the wrestling had, because I'll be honest, I am usually the first person who complains when the wrestling is a bit botchy, it doesn't look quite as good as it should. I did not notice any botches in this, apart from the obvious one.
Yeah, apart from
the obvious one, until people started pointing it out to me later on, and I was like, well, you know what, I'm glad that the emotions swept me up. But yes,
well, to be honest, I mean, botches and rumbles, I've never read, because, I mean, I grew up, like, on VHS, I had 89, 90, 91, when it was just, well, I don't think they actually planned out every single minute details. So,
yeah.
You just had guys just standing in the corner, like pinning people down for like 20 minutes and things. So I don't really pick up on the like minute body. Like, especially when it comes to later on, when did we have a botch with like LA Knight getting in the way or some?
Oh, do you
rubbish.
know what? I don't even want to get into that because that is just I mean, we'll mention that like very briefly. So
I thought it was a weird elimination.
Yeah. So
out of nowhere, but
I mean, effectively, what happened is that somebody who had just been in a arena full of thousands of people who had just experienced a bit of frustration allowed that frustration to come out in the back. But that is something that I think should be normal and accepted for wrestlers to do. They should be able to just go like, oh, what the fuck was that? What the hell happened? Yeah. Because they're in a highly volatile environment and their adrenaline is going like nuts. Not every time that they have a shouting match in the back complaining about something it needs to be headlines on several YouTube videos. To be honest,
they joked about it on SmackDown
exactly.
Anyway, so it's nothing. But I mean, it was a weird elimination.
Yeah, it was a weird elimination.
We started off with the Luchadors. I can't remember who came out when, but we had some good. Joe Henry was a good surprise.
Joe Henry, it was a good surprise. Although I've got to say, I was not that surprised when he basically left as quickly as he came.
Yeah, he didn't last very long, but it was good.
TNA World Heavyweight Champion, Joe Hendry. I'll be honest, I am...
Sorry, I had to get that in. You said his name. Come on, Lee.
I'm surprised the doorbell didn't go. He's downstairs
I've probably
now.
just deafened 4 people.
Oh yeah, no, I'm gonna quieten that one down.
You're gonna quieten that one
down. I've literally unsubscribed to podcasts because they picked my audio.
I won't clap no more then.
At least not right in front of the bloody microphone.
That's true.
See what we can do about that one. There we go. That was better. Yeah, no, the wave file doesn't seem to be quite so high on that one. So, like the Rumble again. That's the thing about a Rumble. So many things happen. So many people enter. So many spots happen that you just can't keep track of it all unless you've made meticulous notes. And if you haven't noticed, this is not a meticulous notes kind of podcast. Like I say, no script, no net. We are doing this one off the cuff and off the fly.
I mean, offhand thinking about it, I can't think of anything negative, particularly to say. I don't know if you feel that way about the finish or not. I quite enjoyed the finish.
Right, okay. So the thing about the finish is that me and you found out about the finish in 2 completely separate ways. You found that you saw the finish live as it was happening.
Yes.
So you had already seen the fact that, CM Punk had been eliminated, that there was a big angle between him and
So you just opened Twitter and saw Jey Uso won?
I turned on my television.
And saw Jey Uso won?
Yeah, so like, basically, like, I've got a smart TV. I turned on the TV just hoping to straight away put on Netflix without having to see anything. And as soon as I turn on my smart TV, it's got a load of, like, For You crap that they're recommending to you. And one of the first things was a YouTube video that said Jey Uso won the Royal Rumble. And finding out about it that way is like, wait a minute. Jey Uso won the Royal Rumble? Not John Cena? Not CM Punk? Not Sami Zayn? Sami Zayn was honestly the person who I was really hoping would win the Royal Rumble. Because I'll be honest, man, honestly, watching Raw the 2 nights later really solidified this for me. I am not a Jey Uso guy, man.
I'm not a Jey Uso guy. But I liked the Rumble win because it was nice to watch a Royal Rumble when I was surprised at who won.
And that is very good.
If you look at it in the context of just the Rumble itself, regardless of what's going to come at WrestleMania and all, main event Jey Uso, probably not main event in WrestleMania, let's be honest. But regardless of what's going to come, as the match itself, it was nice to be surprised. Because I can't remember the last time really I actually watched, even when I used to watch it, actually being surprised as who won. So
Nakamura probably a few years ago, he eliminated Roman Reigns last. I could not believe that happened. And genuinely, because that was something that I saw live
I was
myself.
surprised when Triple H won the Rumble a few years back, when he won the belt at the Rumble.
Oh, really? You were surprised by that? I thought as soon as he came out, there's no way anyone else was winning. To be honest,
I wasn't really watching the product, and I was surprised that he... Because it was for the actual belt, wasn't it? Roman was the champion. I just thought he was... Because all I knew was Roman wins, lol. So I was just thought, I thought that he was just going to win the Rumble. But
that is one of the few times I have actually properly been invested in WWE at the time, and I was like, oh my god, they're going to do Triple H versus Roman Reigns and I was literally screaming at that Rumble for Dean Ambrose to win, legitimately screaming, and I could not. Anyway, so just when you find out about it, something like that, when you have all of these other options, your first thought is just like, wait, what? They're not going with this story? Or they're not making this story the thing? Or that story the thing? And now it's Jey Uso. I understand, like, that final shot was quite good, where you saw Cena's distraught face as he's standing on the
because he didn't even fall on his arse or anything.
He literally stood on his 2 feet, frozen, stiff as a board, like just with his 1,000-yard steering.
This is going back to what I said on the last episode, where is it going to be a case of Cena's almost going to win?
Yeah.
Is he almost going to now win the chamber match? Is he almost... do you know what I mean? Is he almost going to... And then...
Well, for me, the Mania match has to be Cody Rhodes. So unless they're planning on getting rid of the belt for Cody Rhodes, I think John Cena's the play.
I can see CM Punk doing it.
You can see CM Punk?
I can see...
So, CM Punk versus Cody.
Yeah, but see, I can see, like I said, I said about John Cena chasing almost...
Yeah.
He's going to be last two at the chamber match with CM Punk, and CM Punk is going to beat him.
So
I think Cena's going to be on the cusp of getting there the whole year until he finally gets it right at the end.
So what do you think that John Cena's WrestleMania match is going to be?
I don't know.
Considering as how I think if it is going to be his last WrestleMania, he'll have the main event.
He doesn't have to. Yeah, but that was his last Royal Rumble. He didn't win.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to be in the main event for his last WrestleMania. He's main event in many WrestleManias.
I know.
He might main event one of the other nights.
Now, I completely agree with you here. He does not need to he does not need to main event another WrestleMania. But I do feel like WWE is a business, and I think that they will want to have him in the main event.
He might main event night one.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I hate talking about wrestling in the business sense. I feel like that happens way too much.
He might main event night one.
Yeah, he might main event night one, yeah.
Because I don't see... I mean, I don't know if you... Well, you ain't watched, but Jey Uso's going with Gunther.
Yeah. No, I do know that, which is another thing that puts me down on Jey Uso as the winner of the Royal Rumble. What's the point? They've done Jey Uso and Gunther once already. It was a fine match for Saturday night's main event, but honestly, I don't think that Jey Uso's got much better in him than that.
Could Cena be inserted into that, make it a triple threat?
That is not a bad idea if you're going to go in that direction. Right, okay, so...
They did it with Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair, didn't they, against Ronda Rousey? They turned that into a triple threat. It was meant to be Charlotte. They did.
Not many people like that, though. Not many people like that one.
We don't have to like it, but they do it or not.
Yeah. I mean, well, so the way I thought that WrestleMania was going after this, Cody, Cena, it would be Punk, Roman, and Seth Rollins.
That could be.
But here's the thing. Why does that main event any night? If it's just Punk, if it's just Roman Reigns, and if it's Seth Rollins, and there's no belt involved, how does that main event anything? Because, everyone's saying that it has to be a main event because that's the reason why Punk came back to WWE.
Well, I think Punk's going to fight. Unless
you think Punk? Oh, you think it's going to be Punk and Cody?
I think it's going to be Punk and Cody.
Okay, yeah.
But they could insert John Cena. It could be a triple threat.
I mean, a lot of these plans that they look like they were making during the Royal Rumble could always happen at an Elimination Chamber or even at a separate event down the line. Yeah.
I mean, just because it doesn't have to be a one-on-one match.
I mean, apparently the only thing set in stone for the for WrestleMania currently is Jay versus Gunther, and everything else they are still up in the air with. They're still juggling a load of balls and they don't know where they're going to land.
Well, should we finish up with the Rumble then and start talking about the road? Since we're naturally going to the road to WrestleMania.
Well, I will say, I do have something specific that I would like to say about the endings of both the men and the women's Royal Rumble. I think it should have been the other way around. In the women's Royal Rumble, you had the...
You should have had the outcomer.
You had the easy, veteran, lauded wrestler pick versus the up-and-comer.
So you're thinking Perez should have won and Cena should have won?
So it didn't have to be, Perez, It didn't have to be Perez. It could have been, like I said, it could have been Jordan Grace. It could have been Julia. It could have been Vakur. You know, it could have been any of them.
You could have just bunged Charlotte Flair into
the chamber match. Could have been Io Sky.
You could have just had Charlotte Flair win a chamber match then, couldn't you?
Exactly, absolutely. And in the other match where you've got the several lauded, like these guys have had several accolades, I just feel like you've got such an incredible roster at the very top of WWE in the men's single division now. You don't necessarily need to be picking favourites for the future. You don't need to be establishing future stars. You've got so many guys that are right here, right now. You can just coast on that for a while and worry about building up stars later.
So I don't think Charlotte should have won. I'm glad Jay won, honestly. It was a nice surprise. Yeah. To be honest, as soon as he won, it was obvious he weren't going to be fighting Cody. I knew that. Anyone who's been watching this...
And that is another thing as well. To me, Jey Uso winning, actually...
I mean, in the grand scheme of things, it kind of undermines the Rumble win that he's fighting.
That's exactly what I'm talking about.
But if you
values the Rumble.
But if you take the Rumble as a show in a bubble in itself, I enjoyed the Rumble win.
Because the thing that I'm worried about with the Royal Rumble is that Triple H is not the biggest fan of Money in the Bank, and that's one of my favourite stipulations, has been for years. And I can't believe a few years ago where they did the Money in the Bank ladder match at the O2, and I couldn't have given less of a shit about going to it. If you told me when I was like, you know, in my mid-20s that Money in the Bank is going to be its own event and it's going to be in London at the O2 Arena, which is 2 tube stops away from where I live, I'd have been like, there is nothing on earth stopping me from going to that. And I didn't even bother looking for tickets. I did not care. And it was because of the fact that the Money in the Bank ladder match has been devalued by people doing things like going after mid-card titles with it. And, like, you know, Triple H, he's got his stories that he wants to tell. He's the head booker of WWE now. He wants to tell his stories. And none of those stories involve a guy waiting in the wings with a briefcase hovering over the main event scene for 6 to 8 months. That's not what he wants. And I thought that he did like the Royal Rumble, but now seeing Jey Uso win, it makes me feel like, okay, so this is going to be another Royal Rumble winner that doesn't main event WrestleMania, and I genuinely feel that in the next 3, 4, maybe 5 years, a Royal Rumble winner might even challenge for a mid-card belt now.
No, I don't.
Do you not see that one happening?
I don't see that.
I was really worried about that last time.
Especially why they got 2 world titles.
Yeah, okay, maybe that's me doomerizing for a second.
I mean, to be honest, I think what they should do is stop saying that the winner gets the main event at WrestleMania. They should say the winner gets a world title shot.
Unless they have every intention of giving the winner the main event at WrestleMania.
Because that's what... Because he's not... Jay. I don't think Jay is going to be on last. Because let's be honest. I mean, I know there's 2 nights now, but let's be fair. Night 2 is the main event.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
I'm so glad you say that.
Night 2 is the main event.
Because so many people are like, night 1 of WrestleMania, the main event of night 1 is a main event. I'm like, no.
And if I think that, Pepsi Phil thinks that as well.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. Yeah. CM Punk, if he's going to get the main event, he wants night 2 closing the show. Yeah. He doesn't want to be in a triple threat match at night 1. So I think that's why.
He doesn't want, in a future promo with a young upstart, him saying that, hey, what have you done? You ain't done nothing. I have main evented WrestleMania, for that upstart to just come straight back at him with, night one. Yeah. It's like...
I think that's why I think Phil is good. That's why I think CM Punk is going to... Is going to do
Mr. Brooks. Let's be respectful about
Mr. Brooks.
So,
and to be honest, as a fan, I would much rather watch CM Punk versus Cody Rhodes.
Yeah, do you know what?
Than John Cena.
There's a lot there.
Don't get me wrong.
That, yeah.
I'd like to see John Cena at his last WrestleMania.
That could be SummerSlam.
I can possibly see John Cena opening WrestleMania.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. I mean, honestly, and I know this is grim, and I know we're not supposed to do this, but one of my biggest predictions for 2025 is that in his final run with WWE, where he's got something like 30 shows booked that he's going to be to, that something is going to happen early on in that run that's basically going to cancel the rest of it out, that he's not going to be able to wrestle.
Really?
Well, he's getting on. He doesn't, he doesn't have the reps anymore.
But that's why I don't think he's going to be at Mania, because he's not going to win the championship and be on the shows for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
I think he's going to almost win. I think he's almost going to win the Chamber. I think he's going to enter the Money in the Bank match and almost win it.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, or if he did win the Money in the Bank and then he cashes it in right at the end, like John Cena's got it, that would be a good story. John Cena's got the Money in the Bank.
Could you imagine if, who was it that John Cena, prevented from cashing in successfully? Was it Baron Corbin or somebody like that? Or was it Damien Sandow or something?
Like that, I can't remember.
But I just think it would be amazing if one of those wrestlers came back to stop him from cashing in his money.
I mean, because who was it? I'm sure. I mean, it might have been Wrestle Talk or something. They predicted that maybe he wins it on his last night.
Yeah, but here's the thing: I can't see.
We having another beer, are we?
Oh yeah, we'll have another beer. Are you finished?
Another one. Yeah, I finished.
There you are.
Let's have another. Let's ASMR them again.
Oh yeah, let's do that.
There we go.
Okay, we're definitely going to have to... Yeah, no, that's...
We warned them on that one,
that's bursting eardrums, yeah.
We warned them on that. So we're going to have to crack open our beers in my clapping distance.
Yeah, maybe,
we're going to have to mark out on the floor where I can clap.
Well, I'll give this one a listen. I'll go back through anything that might have been peaking. And I'll make sure that we're not, bursting people's eardrums with our nonsense.
I won't ask technical questions. I'll ask that later. About it, because I don't know how you do that. I would just let you be deaf.
I mean, honestly, it's just most of what I've learnt on this, I've learnt from just watching YouTube tutorials anyway.
Yeah. Well, to be honest, they did get a warning on that one.
Yeah, they did. They
did get a warning. I mean, the clap was a surprise.
The way you went right in front of the camera as well.
To be honest, I was more pondering on the actual sentence of the clap was a surprise. I mean, I'm sure many of people had that in their lifetime as well.
Oh, God, it was a surprise for me, I'll tell you. Oh, dear. Here I was, freshly having spent the summer with my grandmama. I'm not sure I'm keeping that one in.
You keep that in. This is. We told them it's unedited.
Yeah,
that stays. That stays.
I said it was without a script and without a net. I did not say that it is unedited.
Something's got to get us cancelled at some point.
Yeah, absolutely.
Should we go? I suppose we've already segued into the road to WrestleMania.
Yeah, I mean. We've segued into it. I don't really know what else I've got. We've talked about Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. We've talked about Cena and Punk.
And I think we've alluded to, on last night's Raw, we alluded to a match between AJ Styles and Bron Breakker.
Ooh.
So that could be coming up at Mania.
Oh, poor AJ Styles. There was leave him alone, Brom. He's an old man by now.
Yeah, so that might be quite fun, because let's face it. Because that was one thing in the Royal Rumble. Bron Breakker's spear on that person who young kids will probably know who he is, but I haven't got a clue. I recognise the face, the YouTuber.
Oh, yeah.
What's his name?
I tried so hard.
I've seen the face, but I couldn't tell you. I mean, I've seen him on memes and stuff.
I don't think I ever saw this guy. When Triple H was in the back and said, "Hey, Speed, get out of here." I was like, "Oh my god, Speedball Mike Bailey has signed for WWE," when everyone thought he was going to AEW. Though,
credit to the guy for taking that, and the was it Otis who threw him over the table?
Yeah.
Credit to that was the perfect use of a celebrity spot in a Rumble.
Absolutely,
it was very good.
However, his head bounced so hard on that mat, I guarantee you he's concussed.
Probably. But Nick Aldis didn't give the X, so I didn't care. Apparently.
Oh God, more peeking. I'm gonna have to listen to this. I know we've tried to get clearer audio by sitting closer to the mic, but it's also meant that some of you are probably going to be suing us for hearing loss.
I ain't got no money, so don't bother.
Yeah, you're gonna have 62% of my paycheck. I give most of that to Uncle Sam anyway.
Yeah, and on penicillin apparently.
Yeah, good Lord. All the subscription lost to this day, I'll tell you.
Well, since we're not going to talk about the road to WrestleMania, should we talk about this weekend's wrestling?
Oh yeah,
we've got Grand Slam.
Grand Slam looks very good for me. You talk about Vengeance Day.
We'll talk about Vengeance Day because obviously you know more about Grand Slam because you don't watch NXT, so you don't know much about Vengeance.
But I will be watching Vengeance Day this weekend.
Yes, so we've got a triple threat match for the women's title. Julia, Stephanie Vaquer, and who's the other one? We were just talking Bailey.
Bailey, yeah.
Very much looking forward to that. We've also got Stephanie Vaquer's not in that match. What am I talking about? It's Julia, Roxanne Perez, and Bailey. Very much looking forward to that. Stephanie Vaquer is fighting. What's the girl who's got the US, the North American Championship?
Oh,
Fallon Henley.
Okay, that is a name that I am not familiar with.
No, I mean, the only time I'd seen her before this was she wrestled on AEW Dark for a bit.
Oh, okay.
Under a different name, and she was quite good. So so they're two matches I'm looking forward to. Obafemi is going to be fighting Grayson Waller and what's the other guy's name?
Well, that I'm very interested in just there because I think that Grayson Waller and Obafemi are two of the more interesting.
What's Grayson Waller's tag team partner? The guy he's been hanging about with.
Oh, ain't Grayson Waller's tag team? Wasn't he with The Miz for a bit?
No, not The Miz. Another guy that Vince McMahon was hiring on a while back.
Oh, Austin Theory.
That's it. They're missing triple threat. They're in a triple threat. So I don't know about that. I mean, what I've seen of Obafemi, I've been quite impressed with. I mean, I don't know the other guy's work. The other two.
I mean, Austin Theory was one of the top prospects in he was the indie darling that signed with WWE when everyone else was going to AEW.
Okay.
So but the thing is that people have really, really soured on him. I get the feeling he's the wrong person in the wrong product. I feel like he would have done better in a more in-ring orientated show because his attempt at personality is basically I think of him as like a Logan Paul with no charisma.
Okay.
Not that I particularly enjoy the charisma of Logan Paul myself, but I know a lot of people are brought in by that absolute bollocks. But he comes off as really bland to people and just not somebody that's very interesting to watch.
Yeah, it does seem like Grayson Waller's the one with the chat. So, but I mean, I don't know I've seen Obafemi a couple of times, so I'm looking. So that should be quite good. I don't know what else is on.
I was going to say, so who's the NXT champion right now? Is it still
Obafemi?
Oh, is it Obafemi?
Obafemi's
okay, because the last time I was looking at NXT, it was Ethan Page was the NXT champion.
Well, Obafemi won it off of I think Trick Williams. Or
oh, really? Okay, Trick. Okay,
yeah.
Yeah, because Trick Williams is a good one as well.
I think Ethan Page is having a match with someone.
Is it Lexi King by any chance?
I don't know. I don't know the guy's name. They had a storyline where I think Ethan Page busted his jaw or something. So he had his jaw. So, but I mean,
do you expect at any point? I don't know whether or not you were watching him in TNA, but he had a very, very, very successful tag team partnership with a wrestler called Josh Alexander.
Oh yeah, well Josh Alexander's apparently left Impact now, isn't he?
Yeah.
So they might.
So I'm imagining if there's anything with Ethan Page on Vengeance Day, then there's a possibility we might get Josh Alexander.
But I mean, I don't really know the guy he's wrestling, but to be fair, I was very annoyed when Ethan Page left AEW because I thought him and Scorpio Sky were great together.
You see, I really liked the Men of the Year tag team. The problem was that they were dragged down by that American Top Team fella.
Oh, I liked him.
You see,
He was fun.
I understand that people thought that he was funny and that he got a lot of heat from the crowd. The problem is that he was such a spotlight hog that there was nothing left for Scorpio Sky or Ethan Page after that. And also, one of the big problems I think Ethan Page had in AEW was that he was a smarmy, upper-class, handsome, bratish heel. And the problem with being that archetype in AEW is that you've got MJF there.
Yeah,
and you will always be feasting off of his scraps if you are doing that thing in. So I actually thought that him going to WWE, and honestly, I know we ain't talked about the releases yet, but Ricky Starks, exactly the same thing. I think those are two guys who are much more WWE oriented.
Possibly. As I say, I like Ricky Starks, so I was very upset that he's... I mean, to be honest, I'm watching WWE now, so I suppose it doesn't really matter. I'm going to see Ricky Starks now.
We'll see him. And yeah, like, it will be great to see what he's like with
It has been annoying that he's been gone for so long. So
I mean, honestly, I'm not entirely too sure what he expected. He was in the middle of a big singles push, and he tells the company that he is working for, oh, by the way, don't bother renewing my contract. I aim to work for your closest competitor pretty soon. Which, don't get me wrong, the AEW product would be a better place with Ricky Starks in it, but I don't know how I would have reacted to him taking that course of action if I was the one paying his...
I wouldn't have booked him. I mean, to be honest, I would have just released him and saved my money, to be fair.
Yeah. I mean, like, that is something that people have,
we don't know what's actually happened backstage.
We don't know what's actually happened,
I was annoyed that Ricky Starks ain't been on the TV.
Yeah.
I knew it was going to go, but I mean, I'm watching WWE now, so I'm going to see him anyway when he's signed, so it won't bother me. Hopefully he'll do some good stuff.
Yeah. So, yeah, like him and...
well, he's... So
Miro's apparently gone as well.
We'll quickly talk about the releases then, because, I mean, you've obviously got Miro and Aleister Black have both... Malachi Black have both left. Which... I wasn't surprised. That was just a matter of time, let's be honest. There's no shortcut. And then we've had some WWE releases, haven't we?
Yeah.
The only one I really know is Sonya Deville, which is a bit shocking because I'm pretty sure she was in a group and storyline and stuff, and she's been there a while.
I mean, they also got rid of the Good Brothers, Carl Anderson.
Well, to be honest, I haven't heard anything about them for a long time. Mind you, ain't one of them been injured?
Yeah, one of them has been injured, but they had them. Basically, WWE back in the day gave them big money contracts specifically to keep them out of the hands.
And then they released them.
Yeah.
And then signed them back again.
Yeah. And it's like, but what would they really contribute? Like, they had a feud with Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks, and that was probably the most juice out of them you were ever going to get.
To be honest, I would say they're probably TNA bound more than AEW bound.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
Fair. I don't know if AEW is going to...
I mean, they are quite big ego guys.
And plus, I think they've already snubbed AEW a couple of times. So I don't think he's gonna.
Yeah.
I mean, well, that depends on how much clout the others have backstage still.
Yeah.
Which I hear is not much anymore.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about that is, I think that they want prominent positions on whatever card they end up in, and I'm not being funny. They're younger than you think they are, but they're also still getting on a bit.
Yeah.
So unless they end up in New Japan or something like that, I can't see them being anything other than a tag team.
Well, that's the thing, though. I mean, would they go to Impact? Because obviously Impact's got the working relationship now. So would they probably go back to Japan and then maybe appear on Ring of Honor or something?
This is one of the things, one of the big reasons why I think WWE has that partnership now with TNA.
So Impact has to pick, the people have to pick a side, basically.
Yeah. So like they can stay with Impact and
WWE by association, or you're with New Japan.
Yeah. Keep the hope alive that you can come back into the company's fold. Even Dolph Ziggler, for example, was let go by WWE, and yet probably closer to WWE now than he has been in months.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, as for the other, there's not many of the other WWE ones that I particularly know, to be fair, so I can't really comment on.
No. Yeah, I mean, they were very much, right, we aren't doing anything with these guys, they're not developing very much, so we're going to let them go.
Yeah.
The only notable thing about the whole thing, I think, is the fact that apparently not even Vince McMahon did this. They let somebody go while they were injured.
Yeah, which is a bit,
Which, I think that's a bit, And AJ Styles will very much not be injured because he had a huge bust up with Paul Heyman the first time that they let Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson go, because apparently Heyman was the architect behind that.
Yeah. But then, I mean, again, you don't know what's happened. Maybe they've turned around and said, okay, well, we want to let you go.
Yeah.
We can let you go now, or we can let you go later. But,
maybe,
maybe they've said, let us go now, so when he's back, he can, You don't know what's happened backstage with these things.
I mean, they do get those, I think it's 90-day no compete.
Yeah, maybe it's a case of, well, let us go now, and then I'll be back from injury by the time or whatever.
And, the 90-day no compete clause thing, the benefit that it has towards the wrestler is they get 3 months full pay
while they're looking for somewhere else.
Exactly, yeah, that's what a no compete clause. You can't give somebody a no compete
without paying them.
But also, not paying them,
Maybe it's a case of, you're going to be back in 3 months, so let's get ready. Do you want to go now so you can start talking to people?
Absolutely, yeah.
You never know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, do you reckon that... Because I think having Aleister Black, Miro and Ricky Starks now be basically in line for appearing in WWE very soon opens up WrestleMania match possibilities quite nicely.
Well, Ricky Starks is going to be put on NXT probably.
Do you think Ricky Starks goes to NXT? I don't think he goes to NXT. I think he goes straight to main roster.
You reckon?
Because I think WWE are going to...
Well,
Penta went straight to main roster.
Yeah, but then it makes... I mean, it could be a case of if Cody Rhodes doesn't turn heel, you can have Ricky Starks turn up as one of his lackeys. Or
absolutely, yeah. Because the thing is I just don't feel like if WWE want to entice people to go from AEW to WWE, they don't stick them in NXT. Like, I'll be honest, Ethan Page... I don't think he's done much in NXT that has made people... Like, he became champion fairly quickly.
Yeah.
But kind of so much. What? Lexi King,
he's getting used.
Who was the,
Pillman.
Yeah, Brian Pillman Jr., which I still cannot believe WWE's complete refusal to have new talent use old generational names. Bron Breakker. Why is he not Bron Steiner?
The thing is,
don't understand that.
Didn't they join when Vince McMahon was in charge, though?
Bron Breakker, yes. Brian Pillman,
I think Brian Pillman did.
Did he still?
Yeah, I think he
was it that long ago?
Brian Pillman's been gone a while.
It doesn't feel that long to me, but I mean, maybe, but even so, they've kept those names.
But then I don't see why they can't do a thing where they change them back.
Yeah.
But never. But anyway, since we've basically covered the release, we talked about Vengeance Day. Should we talk about Grandslam?
Yes, absolutely.
Are you hyped for Grandslam?
Oh, I am actually
I'm very looking forward to Tony Storm.
Yeah,
and
looking forward to Tony Storm. Looking forward to the tag team match.
Yes.
Yep. I mean, honestly, on a 2-hour collision.
You are talking about Edge and Finney versus the Mox in that tag team match, or are you talking about...
I'm talking about Kenny and... Yeah.
I thought you was talking about Kenny, but obviously... But we got another tag team match with Edge and...
I mean, I'll watch it. I'll probably enjoy it, because they are...
Edge and Switchblade are taking on Mox and...
Yeah. Is it
Claudio? I want to say Claudio, probably.
It might be Claudio, it might be Pac, it depends.
I don't think it's Pac. I think it's Claudio. So, I mean, that might be quite good. Because actually, that storyline weren't too bad this week. But I mean, you got you got Omega, Ospreay, Takeshita, and who's the other one?
Omega, Ospreay, Takeshita, yeah. And Carl Fletcher.
Carl Fletcher, yeah. Carl Fletcher, I forget his name.
Carl Fletcher being one of the people to...
Oh, Carl Fletcher's fantastic.
Being one of the people to watch for 2025. Easily.
I was impressed with him when we saw him in Milton Keynes all them years ago.
Oh, yeah. Oh. Yeah, Aussie Open.
I mean, when was that? What was that? 18, 19, something like that? 2018? No, it was pre-pandemic, so yeah, it was...
Yeah, so I think it might have been even like, you know, I think we're talking like maybe 16, 17.
Possibly.
Yeah, because this is like well before, like, you know, this was guys like Zack Sabre Jr. weren't even main eventing in New Japan at that point.
That's right. That's right. But yeah, he impressed me there. Yeah, well, yeah, it must have been that because Walter was on the show. Gunther was on the show as well.
It was Walter, yeah, who I remember you weren't so impressed with because the next match afterwards you was watching Minoru Suzuki. And you were like,
yeah, we had Minoru Suzuki versus what's the guy Ishii, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And them forearms and chops were loud.
Yeah.
I did enjoy Walter.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, it wasn't as much as you know.
Mm-hmm. I believe your words were Walter can go and fuck himself.
Yeah, because you were hyping him up.
Yeah.
And then we saw that match, and it was just like, well, it wasn't that good, was it? Let's be honest.
Yeah. I mean, yeah,
because we saw quite a few people on that show.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll be honest, that show's a bit of a blur for me. I've got to be great show. I was very, very, very. But it's like coming out of a rock gig. You don't remember specific songs that they played because you were too busy just being incredibly hyped up about everything.
And then we briefly met Ollie Davis at the train station.
Yep, Ollie Davis, who
and
you went up and talked to.
I marked out.
You marked out. Yeah, you went up and talked to. Personally, I was just trying to let him get on with his day because I've got a thing with not bothering people.
Annoying famous people.
Yeah, and I just.
I think he disagreed that he was famous at that point, but yeah.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I mean, he's almost got he's got 800,000 subscribers now.
Well,
so.
he politely got rid of us and said that he had to go for the train, and he was nice about it.
We probably had to get the exact same train. Let's face it.
Well, no, because we had to stand around for about an hour, didn't we? Because our tickets were for a train that was late, so we went and got something to. We went and got something to eat, didn't we?
Yeah.
And sat on a wall for a bit.
Yeah. Oh God.
I know. Good times.
Milton Keynes is such an odd place, man. It's just this venue in the middle of nothing.
I take it we don't give a shit about Grandslam anymore. Then.
I mean, to be fair, talking about
we have just said what we're excited about, and that's about it, really.
I mean, I
don't really want to go into the alleged ticket sale fiasco and all this business.
I mean, I don't give a shit about that.
That's not what I care about.
Grand Slam was in its very it was a special episode of Dynamite. It always has been.
It always has been, and it looks like it's going to be a good one.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
But it's to be honest, it's going to be a good weekend, good Saturday night for wrestling.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Well, for me, it'll be a Sunday morning.
Sunday morning, it'll be Sunday. Me and the missus will watch Collision.
Yeah. I'm going to hope.
I'll see if I can convince her to watch Vengeance Day.
Yep, absolutely, yeah. I mean, I'm going to be definitely doing Grand Slam. I'm definitely going to be doing Vengeance Day as well, actually, because I need to give you...
Because you might be able to fast forward a lot of the faff between matches, so it might be...
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, NXT ain't as bad as Raw and SmackDown are.
I got 10 seconds in the Royal Rumble into Pat McAfee talking about Indianapolis, and I was like, why on earth do I care? I give a single solitary shit about this.
Don't care. You kicked a ball for a living.
Yeah.
Like, not even in a good way.
No.
You know, I mean, at least he played football, technically. He's probably the only one on his team that played football because he used his foot.
Oh, God.
I mean, let's not get started about, padded pick-me-up ball.
Padded pick-me-up ball.
Or rugby.
Tell me.
Rugby with contraception. Yeah. That's what that game is.
Tell me you made up padded pick-me-up football. Tell me that's something you made up.
That just came out.
Oh, padded
pick-me-up ball.
Oh, you should be in advertising, but advertising for things that are shit.
Things that are wank.
Yeah, things that are wank. Yes.
Padded pick-me-up.
I look forward to the point when this becomes the wank cast.
Football
wait a minute, that's a different genre.
Football is what we play with our feet, not soccer. I'm offending people now, aren't I? I'm upsetting people. I'm triggering people.
Oh, don't give me that shit.
Are you feeling triggered? triggered, if you're triggered,
you'll say fucking woke next.
If you're getting triggered about padded pick me up ball, you know. But yeah, so technically Pat McAfee probably played football then because he kicked the ball.
Yeah.
So that's he was a punter, wasn't he? That's what he.
Well, I literally think in a sport called football there is a literal position called kicker.
So literally, his job is literally when they've got a kick, when they're at like fourth down. Because I do understand padded pick me up ball.
Yeah.
Not, you know, I do understand the sports. Because to be honest, actually, I don't mind watching a game. It's just that, you know, it's a game that stops and starts every 2 seconds. It's ridiculous. Yeah. It's just pointless.
It is impossible. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, so basically, when it's like the fourth down, they've got to give the ball back. They switch the entire team. And then stick him on just to kick the ball.
Yeah.
And then when the other team pick the ball up, they stop the game again. And then Pat McAfee gets off the pitch.
Do you know what team he played for?
I could not give a shit. Could not give a shit.
Did you ever follow it?
No. What team did he play for?
No. I don't have a clue. I'm asking you. You sound like you have a good grasp of the rules.
Well, I know how to play the game.
Yeah.
It's quite a very simple game to play, to be honest. It's just because, obviously, it's an American game.
Yeah.
They stop every 2 seconds and put an advert in it, which is why they don't have soccer on TV in America.
Because they can't.
Because the only point they can put adverts in that 2 hour slot is 15 minutes in the middle.
Yeah.
That's the only time they can advertise. That's why it ain't taken off, because that's why there's no money in it.
There's what's it called?
Because I've watched the Super Bowl a few times.
Yeah.
You know, on BBC, reluctantly, BBC. But obviously, you know, it's a stop and start.
Yeah.
This is a wrestling podcast, by the way. But they stop and start. Sports. Anyway, but they stop and start. And obviously on the BBC, we don't have adverts. So it would cut to some pundits and stuff and talk about what's just the 15 seconds of athleticism that they can muster. Right? But obviously, when I watched it on Netflix, it would go to ads. And if I had to sit there for 5 hours watching a football game, a padded pick-me-up ball game, and that I would, you know, I'm only about me 15 minutes of faff between matches at the Royal Rumble. I watched about 20 minutes of American football and I turned it off.
Yeah, people, like an entire cottage industry has come around about making content about the Super Bowl, not about the football. About the adverts.
I mean, I can explain the rules for American football very quickly.
I don't. Oh, right. God.
You get the ball. Yeah. You've got to get forward 10 yards. You've got 4 attempts to do that.
Yeah.
And then the other team have the ball. And then and that's it. And then they get 4 attempts to do that. Which is why normally on their fourth down, which is the fourth attempt, they kick it. Because if they don't get the 10 yards, they've got to give the ball back anyway. Yeah. So they might as well kick it down the pitch. That's it. That's literally the game. You've got 4 attempts to get 10 yards from where you got the ball.
Do you know what? I think we've completely lost the plot, so I think that's where we should end it.
We should, Len.
If any of you have stuck with us for this long,
we've been going for
saints.
An hour and 20. We've gone into Fergie time again.
If we keep like
or McAfee time.
Yeah. So last time we did an hour 10, I think about, and this time we're doing an hour and. Yep, getting into 20. If we keep adding 10 minutes on every week, at some point, we should have an actual professional length podcast.
Next time, we can go the length of a proper football match, and we can stick 15 minutes of adverts in the middle.
We could do that. Anyway, I've been Lee Hazel.
I've not been Steve. Your mum called me Steve last week.
She called you Steve?
She called me Steve. How long have we known each other, Lee?
Right. On that bombshell, I'm going to end this because we need to discuss this in full detail. But that's not a discussion for the public to be hearing. So, yeah.
Well, I'm Dave, not Steve. He's Lee. This has been
Catch you later, everybody.
Peace.